Alright, so we're back again today with another video on this 85 C10 right here.
It's got some mismatched panels on it, but that's why it's here. It's going to be one color by the time it leaves there. So.
Solid white.
Yep, going back white, and from that we're going to be doing full paint and body on the whole thing. So
yep.
So like you said, this 85 C10 short bed, it's been lowered probably neighborhood of 3.5, 4.6, somewhere around there. It's just at a 20-inch US mag, Ramblers in black and chrome. Yeah, and so this is not our truck. This is one we'll be doing through the shop down there. So, like we said, we're going to take it down there, a couple pieces at a time, start on them. And we already have the tailgate. You'll see that in a second. It's already in primer, so it was kind of our test piece.
Yeah.
And so we'll walk around here and kind of just give a quick rundown and look at it, what it looks like now before we jump into it and start sanding on it. So 2/3 of the truck, as you see, is pretty much completely rusted. We're going to have to end up stripping all that off,
which is not fun.
No, from through the tailgate, it's going to be a job.
It's a process. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not just surface rust. I mean, it is, but it's got texture to it. I mean, it's starting to pit a little bit underneath all that. So
it's really to the point where you either got to do something with it right now or just let it go.
Yeah. But overall, the truck is really straight.
Yes.
There's one dent.
I think it's actually on the other side.
This side right here.
This is the only dent we've even found in the truck.
It's right under the tail light.
But there's no actual rot in the rockers, cab corners, nothing.
It's all
surface rust, which is a plus.
Yeah, but you'd rather deal with surface rust than like rot. But this right here is going to be.
It's going to be a job.
It's going to take some time to do it and be a job too. So we're going to be painting inside the bed too. Shouldn't be as bad to strip all this off as it would be the rust, but
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. So here's a spot right here, just a sample of what we just scuffed a little bit. You can kind of tell.
Yeah,
but it's going to have to be hit with a pretty low grit. I think around what we started with there, it's around
like 180, I think, right there is what that was.
Yeah, this is about 180, but I think what we stripped the tailgate with was
40,
which is
a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive cut, and then you just step up from that. So the inside of the truck is pretty nice. It's already been redone.
In the blue, which is going to look pretty good on this.
I think it was
solid
a factory
white
blue truck.
It is a factory blue truck.
And we did mention the truck will be white, solid white.
And we're going to go ahead and spray these door jambs while we're here and all that. And
we're going to spray to the pinch weld here, which is just under that rubber.
And really just
take all the rubber off inside, which we'll have this truck
basically gutted.
Yeah, we'll have both fenders, hood, cowl screen off. We'll pull the doors. We'll pull the bed and gut the inside.
Pull the glass if you didn't say that.
We'll pull windshield and back glass.
And we're actually going to be going back with a solid flat rear glass.
I think so.
We're pretty sure.
Pretty sure we will. Don't know. But the front fenders and the hood. The hood's been put on here. Yeah,
this is a cow hood if you couldn't tell.
The fenders are not white paint. It's actually white primer that was put on roughly 20 years ago.
Yes, somewhere in the 90s, probably. Late 90s, early 2000s.
But the reason this truck is 2/3 rusted is because it was stripped down to metal and then it was just left sitting outside.
Yeah, and the two fenders is the only thing that got primed.
Yeah.
And the rest was just set out bare metal and for the last 20 some odd years.
And that's what it'll do to it. So
yeah, if you're curious, this is what it'll look like. I would not recommend it.
No, would not. But like you said, it's got a cow hood, and this is one of the better fitting cow hoods.
Yeah, the steel cow hood. I mean, all the gaps are good.
Both sides.
Both sides. I mean, this is probably the best fitting cow hood I've seen on a square body.
Yeah, fits really good. And so something else with this truck, it is LS swapped.
It's got a stage 3 BTR cam in it, I believe. And yeah, it hits a good lick.
Yep.
Which you'll hear later on in the video, but yeah.
This thing's got the Dakota digital gauges in it. It's a real nice setup. It's got the Bluetooth radio in it too.
Yeah, I believe these are actually the RTX gauges too, which are, I believe Dakota's top of the line gauges.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
So with that,
I mean, and the whole truck's done, other than the paint and body. So that's why it's here.
That is a plus. So
yeah,
when we get done with it, the thing should be
the truck's done after we get done with it. So yeah.
So what we're gonna start doing, like we mentioned, the tailgate's off. We're gonna be getting this bed off tomorrow, so you'll see that then. And
that's where we're gonna start. We're just gonna work our way forward.
Yep. We're gonna get the whole bed in primer, and then probably get the front end in primer, and then the last thing we'll do is get this cab, and then once it's primed, we'll go over everything. Probably 2 to 3 coats of primer on it. We don't know, which we'll get into that later in this video. But and how we'll treat the rust, we'll get into that, because this is gonna be a several day process. So this when this video starts to when it ends. So.
And I mean,
just part one of it.
In my opinion, once it gets in primer, it's all downhill from there.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's what's going the longest and hardest process of this is going to be stripping this rust off.
Yeah.
But after that, it'll be
hopefully downhill from that.
Yeah.
In our experience with this stuff, so we'll be back tomorrow, and you'll see us. We're getting the bed off this thing, and we'll kind of. When we start sanding on it here and there, we'll
check in every now and then.
Yeah, and so we'll get into the kind of process of what we're going to sand it with, how we're going to do it, and treat this rust, and kind of go from there, and just give updates along the way, and then get to it.
right, so we're back here in the body shop with the 85 Silverado, and it's been just a day or two since we last filmed on this thing. The last thing y'all seen was probably the bed getting primed for the first time, and you're probably thinking it looks exactly the same right now, but trust me, a lot has been done. And so come on over here. And as you can see too, the rest of the truck is now here in the body shop, all in primer too. So here on the bed, what we ended up doing, we had it primed. We went guide coated the whole thing. We blocked the bed, and then with the guide coat on there, it showed us where our low spots were. And I've got to say the bed sides themselves were fairly straight. And a lot of what we ended up fixing was just from the factory how the metal is stamped. Especially, I'd say probably the worst part around these gas doors here. It's just hard to stamp that and keep the metal straight. So that's where a majority of the body work was done at on this bedside. The top rail, which again from the factory, these top rails are not straight either. So skimmed the whole top rail, got it blocked. And when I say skimmed, I mean like not a lot of Bondo. I mean it's probably what?
Maybe eighth
inch thick at the very most.
I mean, it's not like we put a gallon of Bondo on top of it. I mean,
you know, some people, you know, they will skim the whole thing. We didn't do that here. Nothing against that, but we just fixed what was low. And then this other bedside over here, same deal. There was actually a little dent right here, and there was a dent here, and then on the front of the bedside there was a little dent. But really, that was the only actual dents on this thing. So it did get mudded back here, which
some of that got stud gunned out though.
Yeah, we did stud a lot of the dent out.
Pin spot or whatever you call it. I mean,
same thing on this top rail, and then the bed floor. It was primed, same thing, blocked, body work. The actual sides of the inside of the bed were very straight. I'll say the sides were very straight. The tubs, the front panel, and the floor, on the other hand, they did catch some abuse.
That's worth the majority of the. Well, I'd say 90% of the body work on the bed came from the floor, the tubs, and the front panel.
And we're going to put some pictures up here of the sides and the bed floor. The tub skimmed most of the tub. Again, the tops here, it was stamping, you know, it was wiggly from GM. Shout out General Motors. But on the sides here, it was creased from having stuff slid up in it. Same thing with the front panel. You know, slide stuff up there and dent the front panel. We hammered and dollied a lot of that out. And then the floor, same thing with it. Hammered and dollied a lot of it. Beat on it from the back side. And ended up skimming the entire floor because it was just that bad. Which, again, we'll throw a picture up. I say that bad. In reality, it wasn't terrible.
It's just very time consuming.
Just very time consuming going through all of these grooves. If you have never body worked a square body bed floor, I highly don't suggest it because it will. It's a pain.
Just buy the bed floor.
Buy the bed floor, which still, it's not going to be straight.
No, you're gonna have. If you want one like stupid straight, you're still gonna have to skim it.
Brand new or it's an original bed floor. You're gonna have to put mud on a bed floor to get it straight. That's just all there is to it. If you don't like it, sorry I hurt your feelings. But yeah, so this bed floor, it still needs to be, well actually the whole bed needs one more blocking and one more priming. Our final prime, and then we're gonna guide coat the whole thing, knock the top off with probably 220, I imagine.
Probably
220, or either fully sand it with 220 or just get it straight with 220, then go to 320.
Wet sand 400,
Wet sand
600.
400 or 600, we ain't decided yet, and spray some white paint. Everything other than the tailgate has been primed over the bodywork. So as you can see here, the tailgate compared to the bed floor, I'd say it's very straight. I actually lift this thing up and show the outside of it. But as you can see, again with this is not dense, other than this in the middle here. Same thing on that side. These are not dense. This is just the factory, how they stamped it. Same thing with the bottom right here. That's how it's stamped from the factory. Now a lot of people would probably just sand it and paint it, but we're going a little extra mile here. For me, really, the reason we did fix all these little stampings and everything is because if it was mine, I would want them fixed. And I don't know if I'm just OCD like that or what, but that's why we went ahead and done it. And really, honestly, you'd probably never notice it.
It being white, you
Especially
wouldn't
this being
notice
a white
it.
truck, you probably wouldn't notice it, but I don't care what color it is. We're going to do the body work the exact same way. I don't care if this thing was black, because black, you'll see everything. You could paint this truck black and it'd look great. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, but it's going to be white, which hides a lot of stuff, but we're not hiding anything. I would not be afraid to paint this truck black in a heartbeat. That's how, I mean, that's just matter of fact. We wouldn't have spent any more hours doing the body work, whether it was black or white or purple or orange. It wouldn't have mattered. Like I said, for the bed, cab is the same exact. It is ready for one more blocking, prime it, and that will be our final prime, final blocks. And the cab itself, again, I know I sound like a broken record here, but there wasn't many dents on the cab.
There weren't many dents really in the truck.
On the whole truck. If they were very small.
It was just the stamping of the truck.
Yeah,
I mean, these were trucks. They're not.
That's a lot of what we fixed is how it was stamped. Now the roof, there was a little bit of wiggle in the roof.
I'd say the roof was the worst panel on it.
Yeah,
on the cab.
On the cab, roof was the worst panel, just because the metal on the tops of these cabs, they're thin metal. You know,
They'll flop.
They will flop. And, you know, I don't know if something got set up there at some point or who knows what happened. But, yeah, the roof, just like the rest of it, ready to be blocked, primed one more time. And the fenders.
Fenders are dang near perfect.
Fenders on this truck were dang near perfect. These were probably some of the straightest square body fenders I've ever seen in my life. Except for the fact, this driver's side fender over here had one little dent right here on the corner. And then I think this one had a dent right here on this lip somewhere. But just very, very little Bondo in the truck, really. But especially in these fenders. They blocked out almost perfect.
No rod in it, the whole thing.
No rod in it anywhere. But yeah, all around very, very solid truck.
Just covered with surface rust.
Covered with surface rust. And it's a shame that it was, but on the other hand, if it wasn't, we wouldn't be painting the truck right now. So, it is what it is. So, other than the tailgate, oh, and the doors too.
Doors and the hood also.
We've got one door sitting up right there. We primed the backside in the door jamb because we are painting around them. And then this door over here, one of the doors, I believe it was this passenger door. I can't remember. It was bent a little bit on the bottom, and around one of the keyholes was sucked in a little bit. But again, very solid, very straight for the most part. And again, what was smeared on this truck is skimmed. It's
not like we sculpted it out of Bondo.
Yeah,
I mean,
this truck is not being sculpted out of Bondo. It's very, very thin.
Look, we don't just skim over. I mean, we actually take the metal and bring it out and not just...
Yeah, we don't just say you've got a dent here. We don't just fill the dent. We do the metal work to get it as least of amount of a dent as possible. And then you just slick it over with a little bit of mud.
So you don't cave and pave it?
We don't do any caving and paving around here. This is a cave and pave free zone. I don't stand behind that. And then I guess the last part over here is the hood, which is a cow hood, which if you know anything about aftermarket sheet metal, it's not the straightest thing in the world. But as far as fit on this hood, I know I've said it in this video before. This hood fits dang good. The body, the gaps on it, I believe it's an LMC hood. Shout out LMC. I won't charge you for that plug. But yeah, the hood fits good, but it was a little wiggly, which these square body hoods, they're I won't say they're hard to work, but they're a tricky panel to work on these because the inner structure in them will come loose, and you can set them on a stand and the inner structure will poke up the outside skin. So they're a tedious panel to work. So we did end up skimming the outside edges of the hood. The cowl, or the cowl itself, was actually straight, very straight. I don't know why that is, but I guess it's just the most structural piece of it. You know, with the shape of the cowl, it was very stout, a stout piece of metal right there. But yeah, we did end up skimming the outer edges because the inside did block out good. And the underside of the hood is sanded, ready to jam.
I mean, this truck is close. It may not look like it, but it's really close.
So yes, the truck is, in my opinion, she's one priming away from being painted.
It's about 80% from being painted.
I'd say it's a good 80%. And we are going back with solid white.
Factory color.
Factory color.
I believe it's called Olympic White this year. I think so.
That's what they called it. But yeah, we're getting close. I'm excited. We're back working on this truck. We didn't touch it for a while because life gets in the way. The body shop here was slammed, but we found the time.
And a lot of what we have done, we haven't filmed it because this is one of them things like you get in the mood to work on this, you just do it. You don't worry about it.
And this bed floor, I'll say I've spent more time on the bed floor itself than the rest of the truck. I've got more time in just the floor of this bed. I could have body worked the rest of the truck again.
You probably could have body worked 2-3 trucks for the time.
Yeah, I mean, I start to finish, which I didn't work on it every day, all day, but it took me on and off a good month probably to body work just the floor. And you can, when it's painted, you're going to be able to tell, it's had some time spent on it. And then the front panel, I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but the whole inside got skimmed on it too, which again, that's just from the factory, that is not a straight panel either.
And it takes, everything you slide in this bed, it's hitting it. I mean.
So, yeah, so far I'm very pleased with how this truck is coming along. And I gotta say, I'm very excited to see some white paint on this truck, shiny white paint. Because I've got to tell you, here lately, I've been liking some white square bodies. It's just a white stacked headlight square body's been doing it for me here lately. And we don't have a white one either. So.
We don't.
We're low key on the hunt for a white.
Preferably white 85/6 GMC.
I want a white 85 or 6. I'd rather not ruin an 87. So, yeah, but I'm telling you, when this thing gets all white and shiny, you look down the side of it, it's going to be straight as an arrow. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And by the way, we did just uncover the engine bay for this video. I don't want everybody to think we're shoving Bondo dust down this air filter over here. No, we keep it covered up. Because again, if it was mine, I'd cover it up. So, but that's pretty much going to wrap this video up on this truck. This is going to be a good part 1 for this thing. I don't know how many more parts we'll do on it, and however many it takes to finish it, obviously. But yeah, super excited to get to spraying some paint on this thing, and probably see that in the next video of this truck. Wouldn't you say, the actual spraying of the paint?
Should be.
So
I'm hoping, like our real time right here, I'm hoping within a month there's paint somewhere on this truck, whether it just be jammed or something. I mean,
that's very doable in my opinion if we'll work on it. So with all that, we appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you on the next one.